Good afternoon, everybody, and my name is John Durrant, and welcome to The Train. And with me today on the train, we have Lorena Granata again.
Hello.
It's so nice to see you back, Lorena. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And you may all remember that the last time Lorena came in to see us, she was telling us about theta healing and about how theta healing works. And I actually went along to see Lorena, and I had a treatment.
You did.
And I have to say, it was brilliant.
Good.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Now, there's a couple of things I'd like to tell me about with that. You used a metaphor. You told me that we were looking at growing flowers and about weeds in between them.
Yeah, it's my way of explaining it, because I find it simple. Most people understand. Subconscious, thinking of the subconscious mind as being the soil that you find in the garden. And I think I did, the soil.
You did.
So here we have the soil.
Yeah.
And of course in it we want to put good nutrients to grow beautiful plants. So I'm talking about good, positive thoughts into our subconscious to grow beautiful, positive thoughts, but they're beautiful plants. Can you see that?
I can.
Yeah. In between these plants you have a weed. And the weed could be, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, I can't make money, I can never lose weight. Here's your weed.
You've been listening to me. Yeah, there's your
So
weed. Yeah.
in the healing we can just take this weed out, but we've left a root. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we want to go. We want to access the subconscious, go down this route to find whatever it is that's holding this
Put everything together.
this negative, weedy
Okay.
belief or program in place.
Can I just say to everybody that when you did that to me, we talked about particular things and you came up with 3 little things that were sort of related.
Okay.
And also went back. And it was all to do, at the end of the day, it came down to, can you love yourself?
Yeah.
And can you forgive yourself for things and for what you do?
Yes, absolutely. I say it all the time. Love yourself, forgive yourself. Yes.
And it's what a lot of people say.
And can you trust yourself?
Ah.
Which is where a lot of people find it difficult to really trust themselves because maybe they've made a mistake, they've made a wrong choice at some time in life, and then their trust of themselves.
And also, I think when other people say, you can't trust yourself, can you?
Yeah, or you can't be trusted.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So we're back to what you were saying.
Imagine now you've said that to a 7-year-old. You can't be trusted, you naughty little girl, naughty little boy. And that child then takes it on subconsciously and starts to believe they can't be trusted.
That's actually really interesting because when you said a few minutes ago at the beginning of this, you were talking about positive thoughts, and that is what comes down to positive mantras or saying things to yourself, I am good enough.
Yeah, because that's a way of making a habit. Our subconscious is full of habits. If we told ourselves something over and over, like we've just said, I can't be trusted, I can't trust myself, over and over, it's a habit, it becomes a real program.
What about when somebody is always encouraged and told how good they are, but they do a couple of things which don't work out for them, and suddenly it doesn't matter how positive the parents have been with them, suddenly they're going, but they told me I could do this and now I find I can't.
Yeah.
That I've noticed, I've seen that with a couple of people where parents seem to be pretty good with them.
Yes. I would say in that case that person's got a program of I have to be hard on myself. If I don't get it right the first time, there's something wrong with me. They'll see the mistake as being something is wrong with me instead of it's okay, I've done it wrong, I made a mistake,
try again.
I'll learn from it and move on. They'll see it, so they must have a program or a belief that there's something wrong.
You're coming back next week. Every time I talk to you, I've learned something new. That's really useful.
Great.
I like that.
Good.
So, one of the things that happened with me when we did the healing was we were going down this. We went along a series of different things, and then you suddenly said, "Ah, that's it."
I probably reached the end, the bottom of this root we were talking about. You called it a wiggly worm, but it's a root, isn't it? There was probably something at the bottom that was holding the whole thing.
There was
in
a
place.
lump at the bottom, yes.
Yes,
Do you know
so
something?
once I'd found that, we were able to release it, and that's when you felt the healing.
And do you know, I still, I can't remember what that was.
No. You don't need to.
I don't need to, no. And the other thing is that I can, if I think about it, I can see it in my mind's eye, but although it's got this seed, this lump at the bottom, it's not attached anywhere anymore.
No.
It's just, it comes to an end before it gets to the surface.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Because it's been removed. Excellent.
That really is
I'm
quite
really happy for you,
really interesting. I'm happy for me too.
Yeah. And remember now, it's layers and layers, so
There'll be some more. There'll be some more.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that's interesting that you said when you were on the train last time? You mentioned that this also works with animals, or it can work with animals.
Yes.
How does that work?
It works. I discovered how it worked a while back when I realised that some animals are carrying trauma and shocks. Okay.
Okay.
So that's where it works. The healing works when we can release an animal from a shock or a trauma or an anxiety that they have. That's how it works.
And of course, with animals, I'm thinking particularly in terms of dogs, for example. If they've been mistreated, they either become aggressive
Yes.
with people because they're the things that have mistreated them, or they become very, very frightened and very, very scared of people because that's the way they've been treated. How does that work then? How would that work with the owner of that particular animal?
So I am not an animal behaviourist.
No.
I'm not an animal psychologist. Okay. But I found that animals will tell me what is wrong. Hold on.
Okay, Dr. Doolittle.
No, I like that. They'll tell me in a way that they'll make me sense it, feel it, hear it, or they'll send me a picture of what the problem is.
Why choose you?
Why me? I think all of us, we can all communicate with animals. You know that. You know when your pet is hungry, when it's upset, when it needs something. So we can all communicate. But because I've practiced maybe going into meditation, I've practiced going into that quiet place.
Yeah.
When I'm in that quiet place, I can read an animal's energy and energy field. And that's how it comes. They tell me in pictures and in feelings, and sometimes I'll actually hear the words.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we don't give animals enough credit, you know. The animal kingdom is amazing and is always giving us messages on many levels. It's whether we tune into it or not.
I learned something the other day which I found quite interesting. We're talking about animals, excuse me, at the moment. But we were talking about 5G as it happens and what it does to us and so on. And somebody turned around to me and said, well, yeah, but we're getting radiation from plants apart from anything else. Have you not thought about that? What I'm trying to say here is that it isn't just about, people seem to think that life begins and ends with just human beings.
But we're all connected.
And it doesn't, we're all connected.
We're connected.
And one of the things we've been learning on the train is that this universal consciousness includes animals, plants, the very being, the very stuff that we're all made of.
Yes.
And I find that fascinating. Now, how do you make that work between an animal and their owner?
Okay. Animals will tell me, will show me their relationship with their owner, what's happening between them. Okay,
Give me an example.
Give me an example because it's difficult, isn't it? Okay, so I have a phone call from a lady who tells me that her dog is suffering with separation anxiety. And I said, how is that showing itself? She says, well, every time I leave the house, the dog is barking. Every time I move out the room, the dog's following me. And the dog never used to be like this, only started recently. So I'm asking the lady a number of questions, like who lives in the house, who walks the dog, has anything happened recently that may have caused some sort of upset for this dog to be. And she's saying no, everything is fine, which is why it's so puzzling. Okay?
Okay.
So in my meditation, because that's what I do, I go into a deep meditation, I connect with this dog. We'll call him
Dog.
Okay. And I ask the dog, what's the problem? You know, why are you anxious? And what the dog shows me and tells me, makes me sense, is my owner and husband are having rows every night, and it's upsetting to see her cry. And they're talking about having a divorce, getting a divorce. Now, if they do that, where am I going to go? I get that from the dog.
You get that from the dog?
I got all of that from the dog.
Wow.
So I speak to the lady and I tell her, the dog has said all of this, is this true? She says, yes it is. So I said, well, would you like me to do a reading with you to help you with this, your situation with your husband? She says, yes. I do a reading on her and find that it's got really nothing to do, the issues that she has with her husband is related to something that had happened to her when she was in her teenage years with her dad, something she'd never talked about to her parents and needed to, and that really was the root cause. So when we looked into that, able to heal her trauma, able to get her to a place where she could express it to her parents, her relationship with her husband improved and the dog was happier. That's how it works.
I am...
When I work with,
right.
with animal and owners, that's how it can work.
Okay, I'm putting things together here and I might be putting them in the wrong way. However, from my point of view, I am seeing, I'm linking other people that we've had on the train and what they do.
And I'm sitting here thinking, people are going to think I'm crazy. The thing is,
Lorena, I know you're crazy, sweetheart.
But we've heard horse whisperers and dog whisperers.
Yeah.
And people who use telepathy. We've heard this before, haven't we?
And people who look at body language and recognise stuff. However, one of the things that's been coming out on the train all the way through, and we talked about it a minute ago, is this link to a universal consciousness. Okay? Because we also hear people saying that plant is, you can hear it crying. Or you can hear the plant saying, I am not getting sufficient nutrition.
They've got machines
that actually measure it.
You can hear the plant singing. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen that, no, but I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
Yes, I'm not qualified. I've seen it though on YouTube. They connect wires to the plants in the jungle, in the forest.
Yes, I have.
And you can hear the music. Yeah. You can hear them singing.
You can actually hear them singing. It's a bit like, it's not like whale song, but it's in the same vein.
Yes.
What I'm going to say though is, if you pick this up from the animal, which is and it's the owner's real problem that you're picking up from the animal, and the animal's observing that, and you're saying you were told this, and you saying you were told by the animal. Can I put it to you, can I suggest to you that you might have been told by a spirit being who was related to the owner of the animal?
And rather than the animal itself?
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's possible too. I mean, spirit talks to me as well. That's possible, yes.
So
I have an animal spirit guide. It's my dog.
Of course.
Passed away many years ago.
Yeah.
I know he comes to help me. And I'll tell you how I know. It's only happened two, three times when I'm working with a dog and I see my dog, his name's Sam. I see him playing in a field with the dog that I'm working on. And then I know this dog is about to pass over. And it's exactly what happened. The first time it happened, the dog passed over within an hour. The second time, it passed over the next day. But that's my way of knowing this dog I can't help because he's ready to pass over. Because Sam comes.
That's actually, comes and takes him.
Yeah.
That's actually lovely.
It is, yes.
But the point I'm trying to make here is, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's something I'm actually thinking through as we're talking. It's just occurred to me. Different people communicate in different ways, not just verbally, but also spiritually, and in this universal energy sense, they communicate in different ways. And possibly, this is your way of communicating.
Yeah.
I'm not finishing this off because I'm still finding this is something that's going to be a question which is going to run around. And if anybody out there has got an answer to this or a thought about it and want to put it on the comments, that's brilliant. I'd love to hear about it. Because for me, I think there's far, far more in this than we care to actually meets the eye, than we care to actually think about. But you obviously go very deeply into this. I think it's lovely.
Yes.
And I found the experience with you excellent.
Oh, good.
Now,
thank you for saying so.
Oh no! It's only the truth. Do these things actually? Do you often work with animals? And when you do, is it mainly things like dogs and cats, or do you get
Horses?
the odd budgie? Or you worked with horses?
I have quite a bit actually worked with horses. Because I have a good friend who's an equine.
Whatever they call it.
Well, yeah, she treats horses.
Yeah. Equine vet?
No, she's not a vet. She does massage, and I've just forgotten the name of it right now. It's gone out of my head. So she got me into horses, yeah, by coming to see her horse, and I was able to tell her why the horse was having stomach problems, and I was able to release the trauma that the horse showed me from when his mum was taken when he was little. There's just different things. I worked with her, and then I thought, well, does it work with cats? And it does. Does it work with dogs? And it does. Does it work long distance? Do I need to have the animal in the room? And I don't. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 18 months to 2 years.
Interesting. Because I've heard this from other people. We were talking about communicating. Do you have to have the person that you're communicating with actually in the room with you?
No.
And no, you don't. And we've had it demonstrated on the train with Karen, where she actually communicated with people who were not actually here, but were just doing it through her phone.
Yes. You can work on Skype, you can work FaceTime. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's the link. It doesn't require actual presence of somebody. I'm thinking about somebody I know who I haven't seen for a long time. In fact, I haven't seen for probably 10 years, I suppose. And he was working as a medium. He started to find that he could heal. And then he found that he was working more and more with animals, and in particular with horses. And he found that horses would be calm around him. And they would work with him. Quite interesting, quite fascinating. And I think there's people turn around and go, you've got to be a nutter. But really, it's not like that, is it?
No.
Not at all. No. When you do something else which is involved in this, this seems like I'm doing a hop, and I suppose I am in a way, but I want to go back to something we were talking about a minute ago, which was about meditation. You just said that you work in deep meditation with these things.
Yeah.
What do you mean by deep meditation? I have to say, since I've had my treatment with you, I meditate on a daily basis, but I found that it's changed. It's changed quite a lot.
Deeper?
It's got deeper.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's got deeper, but it's also got coloured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
My meditations used to be just totally black, nothing, but now they're not. They're red. Or they're orange.
Everybody's different.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But what I understand you teach this.
What I've started doing is a workshop called creative meditation, because I've worked with so many people where I've realised that our creative energy is blocked. And it's not just in painting or crafts, but even with our ideas in business. were blocked. So I thought if I put a workshop together where we can go into a meditation, discover what the blocks are, release them, and then paint or write whatever's
We
needed.
are
So
going here into Bob Proctor territory.
Are we?
Yeah. And The Secret and universal ordering, and the look on your face is telling me you haven't got the faintest idea what I'm talking about.
I don't know what I'm.
No,
I can't
this
see the connection just yet. Tell me.
right. The thing is, I've talking to people on the train, and we talk about things like universal energy and connecting with the universe and The Secret and stuff like that. It all comes back to the same thing, which is exactly what you've just talked about.
Okay.
It's learning to meditate at depth.
Yeah.
And then clearing. How are you going to run these workshops, Lorena?
I've started one at a craft centre, which seems to be a great place to do. I do it with a friend of mine, Alison Jones, in Ruthin, in North Wales.
Ah,
That's
yeah,
great.
okay.
It's a lovely craft centre. They've got a lovely education room there. We can do it there. So I've started there, but really they could be held anywhere.
Okay. This, can I ask?
Go about what?
How do you go about doing the workshop? Is it a matter of there are half a dozen people and you work with them all
Yes.
together, or is it a one-on-one?
No, it's a group of people, and we spend some time talking about what blocks us, what
Okay.
blocks you from your being able to create, and whatever form that takes. And then we do a deep meditation, and in the meditation we release the blocks.
How do you achieve your deep meditation? How do you get people to achieve this? Is it a guided?
A guided meditation?
Okay.
Yes, guided meditation.
One of the things I've heard, and I need to ask you about this, is that if people get to rely on a meditation being guided, they then find it difficult to do it on their own.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think most people need a guided meditation to get them started.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
That's what I wanted
So
to
they
hear.
get the feeling, they know where that place is. It goes into the brain, it goes into their subconscious, the journey to get to that quiet place. Then with practice, it's like anything. With practice, they'll be able to do it without somebody guiding them through. Because I know where that place is.
It's like being a child. You need somebody to hold your hand when you first start to walk.
No, I don't see it like that.
Okay.
I see it like this. It's like playing the guitar. I
Okay.
can give you the guitar, I can show you where the chords are, I can show you how to play it, but then you've got to go away to practice to learn how to do this, sing at the same time and look cool while you're doing it. The guided meditation is to help you
Get to that point.
Yes.
We all need a teacher.
Yes,
Brilliant.
that's how I see it.
And can this also
That's how I see it. Sorry.
and can this also help with healing? You looked at me. You looked at me startled
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
as if I hadn't made the connection.
Yeah, well, you obviously haven't, because if we're in the meditation, we're releasing the blocks,
Okay.
and then you come out of the meditation, go to the other side of the room and paint, then yes, you've had the healing.
Brilliant. Now, okay. Tell me where do these happen, and when do they happen? When's your next course?
The next one's in September, actually.
Okay.
It's in the craft centre in September.
In Ruthin.
Yeah.
And is this
September the 3rd.
Okay, so September the 3rd, everybody. Don't forget that, in Ruthin.
Yeah.
And tell me, are you like to be doing more of these more locally?
Well, yeah, I'm doing, in September, I'm also teaching a 3-month course. So that's 12 weeks.
Whoa.
One workshop a week for 3 hours a week. And there are 2 levels to this. There's a level 1 and a level 2. To go on to the level 2, you have to have at least done 3 of level 1.
Of course.
So that's the idea. But the idea is they're only short workshops, 3 hours. The first one's going to be taught in Chester.
Okay, lovely.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, we come from Chester.
We do. And it'll be at the Secret Garden, it's called.
I know Secret
It's
Garden
on
in
Bridge
Chester.
Street in
Bridge,
Chester.
yeah,
Hey,
I know it.
back to roots, isn't it?
Oh,
Really? So I'm delighted that it's going to start there in September.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Lorena, we are pulling into the station here. This has
Okay.
all happened far too quickly.
Got to jump off?
Far too quickly, yes. The train won't be stopping, you'll be opening the door. You're floating out now.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Jan.
So we've got to look
Always
forward.
good to talk to.
It's nice to talk to you too. So we've got to look forward to a meditation in September in Ruthin,
Perhaps
and a
centre.
course starting in the Secret Garden. Is there a website we can go to?
Just get hold of me. Get hold of me through Facebook.
Okay, so
Okay, you can phone me. Am I able to just give out my phone number?
I would prefer you didn't.
Okay. How about emailing me?
But we can contact Lorena through Facebook. It's
Yes,
probably the best way of
okay.
doing it. So if you look for Lorena Granata on
Granata.
I'm sorry, I beg you.
No problem.
I don't know why I mixed that one up. Lorena Granata on Facebook,
Yeah.
and message her,
Yeah.
and she will let you know exactly what's going on. Lorena, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This has been
Bye.
The Train. If you've got any questions, just simply put them on the comments section, and we might attempt to answer them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye.